Hey there, what's happening? This is Eric and
Victoria.
you forgot to say your name. This is Eric and Victoria. It's been one of those days, but you know what? The good thing is it is Wealthy Wise Wednesday. And we are here to support you. We are out here supporting the entrepreneurs, the home-based businesses, the network marketers. And we're here to help you guys take your business online and to do it profitably. And so we are here every Monday and Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Max Out Monday, Wealthy Wise Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. And we're covering topics, issues, strategies, etc.
Things you've dealt with.
To help you to build your business online profitably. And so we'd like to know who you are out there. Please let us know your name, where you're coming in from. If this is your first time viewing our video, or if you're watching the recording, that's important information as well. But the most important thing we need to know is, what would you guys like to know? What do you specifically want to know? What would help your business?
What is your biggest pet peeve and what do you need help with?
Absolutely. And so for tonight's topic, we're going to discuss gear up for your success. Because here we are. Where are we in the first quarter? We're in the first quarter. Let's see.
Where it should be in
January,
the
February, March.
Quarter.
We're beginning the second quarter, right? Beginning the second quarter. So it's really time to take an assessment of where you are in terms of your business.
And where you want to go.
Right? And so it's time to kind of tune things up, turn it up a little bit. Let's get supercharged, superpowered, and taking names and taking over, right? And so we like to say, gear up for your success. Now, you know, where I get the term gear up from, you know, I studied martial arts for many years. And when it's competition time, you know, and you got to fight your opponent, they say gear up, right? That means put on your protective gear because you're going to go out there and fight. Yeah. And so when it comes to building your business and we say gear up, we mean put on your protective equipment, put on all your tools that you need to be successful in your business, because
on the armor.
As a matter of fact, it is a fight out there, right?
That's right.
If you're going to be a successful marketer, you have to have the attitude that you're going to put on the full armor when you go out there and compete. So we're talking about gear up for your success. And so one of the things we're going to talk about is how people view success and the type of thing that can really trip people up. Because one of the problems is people have a common notion that success equals results. That's actually a fallacy, that success equals results. In other words, let's say I'm in a business where I'm trying to build a team and I'm trying to go out there and recruit people, right? And so I've got 30 people on my list that I want to talk to, right? And at the end of the day, I talk to all 30 people and, you know, nobody signed up with my business. Does that mean that I'm a failure, right? See, you got to look at success a certain way. You know, what really does success mean? Success does not necessarily mean results. Success is really the habits that lead to the results.
And those habits that get you to the full results.
I mean, you can almost look at an individual and see what their habits are.
And know they're going to get results.
The thing is, habits are predictive. They are predictive. It's just like it's just like you can see a certain person's lifestyle, maybe a famous musician. You hear about him on the news all the time, you know, and they've got certain problems, drugs, alcohol, whatever. But they're always showing up in the news for the wrong reasons.
Accident on the way to what happened.
And you can kind of predict what's going to happen with that individual.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Or when that fame goes, what happens to that person, right? And then you hear about it on the news and you go, Yep, I knew that was going to happen. You know, well, those are negative outcomes.
But the predictors.
That are a result of negative habits, but it's the habits that are predictive, right? And so when you
Good or bad.
And so one of the things
habits,
you can do when you talk about success in your business is to establish the habits that lead to success. And if you can establish a habit That's a positive result in and of itself.
Yeah, it is.
That is a success. If you look at, Michael Jordan is a person that comes to mind. He was not the superstar initially. He wanted to get on his varsity team and he couldn't make the varsity team. He wasn't tall enough. He wasn't fast enough. But he made up in his mind to determine what were the proper habits to lead to the result.
And he received them.
He got the results.
Because I know people that went to college with him, and he was not the number one superstar in college at UNC.
Absolutely
there
not.
were people that were better than him, but he worked on his skills, and his skill set gave him the results.
Absolutely.
He became a superstar.
And so you've probably heard the saying that success leaves clues, right?
Oh, it does.
Yeah. Well, when people talk about those clues, what they're referring to are the habits that lead to the ultimate results. And so the problem that happens, especially with entrepreneurs, see, when you're working as a quote employee, and you've got a supervisor looking over your shoulder, you get feedback from that supervisor. Well, we didn't make our quarterly goals. Or if you're in sales, well, we didn't reach our numbers, and they're giving you that instantaneous feedback, right? Duncanson, you did great on that project. That was a good job. Give you a little pat on the shoulders, right? You're constantly getting that feedback, right?
Yeah.
But when you're an entrepreneur, when you're in business for yourself and you're building your business and your ultimate goal is out there, it's out there on the horizon, right? And a lot of times it can be let's say
it can be lonely.
It can be lonely. Yeah. You're out there, you're on the road to success, and sometimes you feel like you're kind of walking out there by yourself.
And you feel weird because the average Joe or Ann that does the typical 9 to 5 couch potato, come home, watch the old TV shows, they don't see what you're doing when you're grinding and you're really making it happen. Because that's what you do until you get where you're going. You're in that grind. You're in that crunch mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes it can be lonely. You can feel like you're weird. You can feel like you're the only one out there. They can make you feel like a bad husband or wife or a bad parent because you're not doing the typical things that all the others are doing. You're not average. So when you're stepping out on faith and you're doing something that's completely different than the norm, you can have some weird feelings. You can start feeling that maybe you shouldn't do this. You start feeling guilty. You can't do that.
Now, as you're listening out there, let me ask you a question. Can you think of a way as an entrepreneur to make your journey a little less lonely? Is there a way to do that? And so just comment below. Let us know what we want to hear what you have to think about that.
What do you do?
And you know what? As you leave your comment, we can let you know what our perspective on that is. Because there are definitely ways to make this journey a lot less lonely, right? But the thing is, unfortunately, with a lot of entrepreneurs, and they're looking for those results, they're looking for that success that they perceive is based on making sales or recruiting people into their business.
Growing their business.
And, the thing is, they could be progressing along the way towards that objective and not really be aware of that. And one of the reasons is that they lack coaching, right? They don't have a coach that's going to let them know, hey, you reached a certain milestone. Again, what you have in a work and corporate or employee environment, you got that constant coaching where they're saying, hey, you did great there. Okay, you're looking pretty good. You're on your way to your goal. And, as an entrepreneur, you don't always have that type of support to let you know the progress you're making. And acknowledging your progress is so important. You have to be able to acknowledge those wins to give you the right frame of mind.
Because you don't have a boss, so you don't have a structure. You have a structure with your organization and what you put in place and what your upline puts in place. But you've got to be accountable to you and your organization. You got to be accountable to even your upline because to much is given, much is expected. So if you're a good follower, then that should help you learn to be a good leader. Kind of like you said earlier, that a great student becomes a great
Teacher, right, absolutely. Yeah. And so let me ask you another question out there, and just comment below. What do you think drives your habits? Because if your habits are so important, they're so critical to ultimately reaching the success and seeing the manifestation of success, which is those results, which is those sales, which is those team members, which is your team exploding.
Which is the money,
which is the money, which is, what you see all over the internet when they want to get you to join their business. Yeah, all of those things, what is it that drives the habits? Because the habits are critical. So just comment below. What do you think drives those habits? And so we'd love to hear what you have to think about that. But I can tell you the answer to that question. The thing that really drives those habits is the discipline.
Yeah.
It's the discipline that drives habits.
Some people are more disciplined than others. You've got to find out what makes you more disciplined.
And so here's the thing. I'm going to take it a step further. Because when you're an entrepreneur, it's the self-discipline that makes the difference. Now, I'm gonna be real specific here, because when you're in a job environment, you have discipline, but your discipline is based on the pressure that's applied by your boss or your boss's boss or your boss's boss's boss.
Because you're held to accountability.
Or your nosy coworkers, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones.
It's a different kind of pressure.
It's a different type of pressure.
So you have to learn to put that own pressure on yourself in a very nice way, but also give yourself no excuses.
So, external discipline is not the same thing when you're an entrepreneur.
That's right.
It's self-discipline that's ultimately going to determine your level of success, because it's your self-discipline that's going to drive those good habits, which is going to drive the results that you want to get in your business. And one of the best ways to gain discipline is first of all, find out the areas that you need to be disciplined in.
Find out your weak habits and take those and make them strong.
You can be disciplined in the wrong areas, You can be disciplined. Some people are disciplined, when it comes to doing the wrong things, like, getting that extra cupcake or dessert, or maybe disciplined when it comes to, you can just fill in the blank for all of the things that you're not supposed to be doing. And people are very disciplined when it comes to that. People are very disciplined to spending up all of their money when they get their paycheck, right? But they're not disciplined in investing that money, right? So when you develop that self-discipline, that's what's going to make the difference when you're going to drive those habits, which are going to drive those results that you want to get. Now, one of the best ways to do that is to establish a mentor-protege relationship. You want to get a coach. You want to get someone that can help you identify the types of things that you need to do so you'll know what areas where you need to be disciplined.
You never want to go it alone.
And what you can focus on to develop those good habits that are going to get you the results, the profitable results.
Yeah.
You don't want to focus on the non-profitable things. Like some people can focus on reading their news feed in Facebook and think they're making progress, right?
None of that'll make you profitable.
That's not going to make you profitable. Or somebody that thinks they're getting informed by watching the news 5 hours a day. Yeah, well, that's not going to help you become profitable in your business.
No.
You have to be disciplined in the right things. And so it's important to be humble enough to consult with an expert so you can identify the things that you need to do to build up discipline, to focus and discipline, become disciplined in certain areas so you can develop the right habits to get you to the right results, so you can develop your wins in certain areas. And the more wins you get, the more encouraged you get, the more successful you get, the more you're building your brand, and the more people want to follow you, and the bigger your business becomes. And so with that, Hope this has been helpful for you. Again, we'd love to hear what you think, and we'd love to get your comments on topics you'd like for us to cover. And with that, this is Eric and Victoria saying, hope you're having a great Wednesday. If not, let's make it a great one.
Make a heck of a good week, what's left of it.
All right. And you have a great week. I see you out there, Thomas. You have a great week as well.